Well, it's set to be the longest ever flight flown into India. An Air India Boeing 777-200LR aircraft will be flying in from San Francisco to Bengaluru. It is an incredibly long flight which will last more than 17 hours. Think about it, the time difference, 13.5 hours, and it's an all-women cockpit crew which will be operating this flight. Air India has always championed the cause of women. Women have had a huge role to play in various parts of the airline. In fact, this is something we in India need to be proud about because there are more, for example, women pilots in India than there are in any other country operating in commercial airlines. Joining us now, two very special guests, Captain Zoya Agarwal and Captain Thanimai Papagari. They are the two pilots among four pilots who will be operating this flight. Thank you both very much for being with us. It's great to see both of you over here. And I assume there'd be a huge sense of excitement before this flight. Captain Agarwal, let me come to you first. What are some of the biggest challenges in operating this flight, one of the longest in the world?
Good afternoon, Vishnu. I will firstly start off by conveying my huge gratitude to the Government of India, Prime Minister Modi ji, Minister of Civil Aviation, our airline CMD, our Director of Operations, our entire senior management of this airline, who have contributed, each and every single one of them, to make this world history, which we are going to create tomorrow, a reality from just being there in the papers. I think it's a matter of great national pride for us to do this kind of an event where the entire world is caught up in the pandemic. However, something like this not only gives a morale boost to the entire world and the country, it also boosts the mood of the employees as the whole and definitely provides a silver lining to the dark cloud that we are in. And hopefully we'll be out of this soon.
Captain Thanimai, what are the challenges in the flight?
So the challenges of this flight...
Let me just, Zoya, once I go across to Captain Thanimai, what are the challenges, Captain Thanimai, in the flight?
Good day, everyone. And let me start off with, as Captain Zoya said, I would like to thank every single person who's been involved in this. And yes, I'm sure you want to know what the challenges are. This is one of the second longest ultra long haul flight. And we are, well, it has its own set of challenges, not just about the weather, the various countries that we are transitioning through, and yes, the timing too.
Okay.
Captain Zoya, would you like to add some more?
Captain Zoya, what about the route that you'll be flying? It's possibly going to be the polar route. You were telling me that it may not necessarily be, but either way, it's going to be, what, 17 hours plus? More than almost 14,000 odd kilometers?
No, actually, Vishnu, it's about 16,000 odd kilometers. So we are definitely looking at one of the world's longest flight tomorrow. We are looking forward to creating history. And yes, definitely, we are going to try and fly the polar route. However, as I was discussing with you earlier, it depends on multitude of factors because you have a diverse range of factors ranging from solar radiation factors and the turbulence and so on and so forth. There's the entire list. I can just go on and on for the next 15 minutes. However, I'm going to cut it short. We have to strictly comply by those stringent requirements, and only then we can possibly go. It starts from the airplane equipment, the dispatch requirements, the minimum requirements we have to have on board, the aircrew training. We are already taken care in pretty much all the department. However, weather is something that none of us really have control over, the Mother Nature. So we are just going to have to wait and sit tight and keep our fingers crossed, hope for the best that we're going to go polar and we're going to break all sorts of records tomorrow.
So, Captain Thanimai, let me ask you this. The distance in duration and the distance in, the difference in duration and the difference in distance between the polar route and the non-polar route would be what approximately?
Well, that would make a very significant change because it's not just about the distance-wise. It's also about we'll be consuming lesser fuel. We'll be having better weather patterns, hopefully. And that would save economically, we would save a lot more. And time-wise, yes, it could make a difference of up to 30 minutes or more.
And Captain Agarwal, it's huge for India today also because this is the first direct service between the south of India and the west coast of America. So that's not been, it's been planned for years. We've been talking about it for years. All sorts of airlines. There was Kingfisher that doesn't exist. Air India has thought about it in the past and now it's finally happening. So in terms of connectivity to South India and the west coast of America direct, it's huge, isn't it?
It is tremendous. In fact, I remember having this conversation with you earlier as well. It's basically the connection between the two Silicon Valleys, one of being in the US, San Francisco, and the other one being of India. So we look forward to the new sister cities, so as to say. We look forward to connecting the 2 points on the globe, as well as, starting a long drawn tradition of commencing the polar flights, because this kind of flight is an ideal flight to benefit from the polar. Not only the other flights, but this would be the most ideally suited because San Francisco and Bengaluru are located on two diametrically opposite sides of the globe. So if you talk about just the fuel saving, we're going to do a lot of fuel saving over a period of time if you continue operating polar. And as we all know, fuel saving and the time saving, which is paramount to our prestigious passengers. If you save time, you add on to probably more work time for them, which is definitely advantageous for today's busy world. And when you're just talking about fuel saving, you're talking about millions of dollars over a period of time, which can possibly contribute to additional flights. We can start and commence more newer flights, just like how we are doing now. In fact, post the pandemic, we have commenced 72 more flights than earlier, which is a commendable feat in itself. And when you do fuel saving, that also means, as Captain Papagari was mentioning, reduced carbon emissions, greener planet, which contributes to a better future for all of our future generations to come. So I think it's a win-win for every single person and everyone.
Captain Papagari, if we can talk a little on the flight, if you take the polar route, and I understand that, there are ifs, it depends on last minute, you'll know, then what is the route? What would the route be?
The route, we would be going up north from San Francisco, Seattle, Vancouver, and then most probably we have these fixed entry points. So we would be going as high as up to 82 degrees north. And technically we are not flying right over the pole, but we are right next to it. And then
that's probably because there is an area of unreliable magnetic action. It's called NIMU, area of magnetic unreliability. So you can't directly overfly that.
Yeah, go ahead. And then you come south, right, Captain Papagari?
And then we come south.
And what would the route be?
Most probably over Russia and then further down south, all the way to our favorite city, Bengaluru.
All the way to your favorite city, Bengaluru. All right. Captain Agarwal, now, both of you are pilots. There are 4 women pilots who are going to be flying this route. But Air India has always been a champion of women. You have brilliant engineers, for example, who are women. You've had a lot of pioneers. So very briefly, since we're running short on time, tell us how Air India has really focused on this over the years and women have risen to incredible positions in the airline.
So Vishnu, I joined this marvelous airline, which is so close to me and it's close to our heart. And I'm not talking just for myself. I think I'm talking on behalf of every single employee of this amazing airline. When I joined this airline, I was amongst one of the handful of lady pilots, and I was this young little girl, who joined this airline. And I have risen from there to the position of a captain on the Boeing 777, which is the largest twin jetliner in the world. And having amazing number of features, this 777, I can just go on and on. However, coming from there to now, the number of lady pilots has risen all across the board in India from maybe a 0.5 or 1%. It has gone up to 12% in Indian total Indian numbers, So from the international lady pilots who were there at my time and to the number of lady pilots that I see now, the rise is commendable. I am so happy to have so many women empowered on board with us that I'm so proud of each and every single one of them. Tomorrow, I'm operating with Captain Papagari and our 2 amazing first officers, Captain Akanksha Sonavane, Captain Shivani Manhas, who are going to be an integral part of creating this historical flight.
Right. And
we have so many of our amazing women, Captain
Sure.
Nivedita Bhasin,
And
who's going to be joining us. She's our
I
ED
must
flight
jump
safety.
in since we are running short on time. I'd like to thank both of you for joining us, and happy landings. I'm sure it's going to be a brilliant flight and the first of many on this route. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you, Vishnu.
Thank you.